Fountain Bridge Association. We are once more again presenting to you a health show which is aimed at helping our community face health together for a better community. And today we have an amazing debate titled, Should HIV be a reason why couples should not proceed with their marriage if one is positive after premarital screening? And guess what? Today we have members of our jury right here with us. We have the people for and the people against. Right over here to my left, we have Madame Gogomo Adela. She's an experienced nurse and a teacher. She's one of our juries. And to my left over there, we have Miss Deep Verastine. She's an MPH specialist. Right over there to my left, we have Mr. Bang Enes, which happens to be a public health scientist, and Mrs. Yolan Manley, a public health specialist also. To my right, we have Miss Guanjo Lengon Jinui. She's a public health specialist and she's the founder of Fountain Bridge Association. Right over there to my right, we also have Mr. Ismail Karimo, who is a public health specialist. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we should dive straight away into our debate for tonight. And we are going to begin with the people for. These people are standing for the fact that HIV should be a reason why couples shouldn't proceed with their marital rights if one person is discovered positive after premarital screening. And we are going to begin today with Mr. Bang Ernest. Thank you, sir. You're welcome.
Okay, I need not to introduce myself. Our lovely lady here has already done that. Well, marriage is a beautiful thing, and it's not a decision that you play with. And a lot of people wouldn't want to be at the disadvantage when it comes to marriage. I wouldn't want to have a diseased lady as a wife, and I strongly believe that no man would want to have a diseased wife, or a woman want to have a diseased man as a husband. But then, I wouldn't go into all of that. When I look at something fundamental about the human nature, is that when I believe I have something less, the way I will treat it will be different. So, what's my point here? I wouldn't want to get married to a woman that has HIV because of this, my personal prejudices against her. We both know that marriage is a hard thing. Oh yes, I'm not married yet, but I've seen homes, and yeah, those times come, those tough moments comes. I mean, I've seen guys literally in deep shit. I've seen women wanting to literally jump out of it. So just imagine, I've seen the heat of passion, the heat of anger in marriage. And in the heat of this, if you get married to someone that has HIV, there's a high probability that you would say, I got married to you out of when you were sick. Getting married to you was a favor. I did you some kind of favor. And that's what I wouldn't want any man or any woman to face. While we can be blinded by maybe desire, while we can be blinded by a lot of things, our own human nature is something that will always stand out there. Those points, those breaks are always going to come, and the reason why no man or woman should place his or herself in that shoe is because that time would come when you will feel that you did that man or that woman a favor. You will tell them that after all, I got married to you when you were sick. I got married to you when you were diseased. And that alone will shatter the marriage. Why start it in the first place if we are going to find ourselves in this shoe of regret, this shoe of favor? The worst thing that can ever happen to a man is for them to look at themselves lowly, for their spouse to look at them in a lesser way, for their spouse to look at them in maybe that respect should reduce, and disease will drastically bring it down. Of course, we all know how HIV is transmitted on unprotected sexual intercourse. So that man might look at that woman or as maybe a second cargo, someone that is not up to expectation, someone that is not up to value. Likewise, the woman, she might look at this man. So in order for us to prevent this, it is best no man or woman gets married. when they have a child. I have a lot of points, but I'll leave it at that. Over to you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Bank Enes. That was amazing. If I got something, I heard that it's not advisable because no person would love to have a diseased spouse. Thank you so much, sir. Ladies and gentlemen, can we listen to our first speaker against, which is Mr. Ismaila? You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. I actually listened to my colleague here, Kintley. Uh, HIV does not actually have the problem, but the problem with HIV is the stigma that we have. Because you can basically do whatever the other people can do. So, my point is, I am for the fact that HIV status, or when you are HIV positive status, should not be a reason why couples shouldn't get married. Number one, we don't actually try to figure out how this person actually got this disease. It can be an accidental issue. So it is even simple today. We have medications that can permit these partners to even enjoy themselves, even give birth to HIV negative children without the other partner even having the disease. We have pre-exposure prophylaxis. We have post-exposure prophylaxis. The person who is infected can actually make use of these medications, and the person who is not also infected can make use of these medications. And the person who is even infected while on drugs, antiretroviral drugs, can have a low viral load and then will not be able to transmit this disease to the other partner. So basically, they can live together happily and with their children, with actually who will be negative. And we have a lot of testimonies out there, a lot of men, a lot of couples that have lived with this disease. The other partner is not having the disease, their children don't have the disease. So it's just a kind of lifestyle modification after the disease. Because once you test positive, you need to accept it, and then you modify your lifestyle. You take your medications, and then you prevent yourself from getting to the eighth stage, to the last stage, which is dangerous. So you stay on your medications, you modify your lifestyle, you live happily with your family, with your husband or your wife, and you deliver children that are negative. So I don't think that it should be a reason for couples not to get married. We have advances in medicine nowadays. You can actually take your medications, and you have low viral load. You won't be able to transmit the disease. So if you can transmit the disease, that means you can live with your partner as a couple, and you can deliver safely without the baby having the disease. So then it shouldn't be a problem. It shouldn't be a problem like preventing couples to get married, because we can handle it. This is a disease that we can handle, and you can even live up to your expected lifestyle healthy. So why should they not get married because of the HIV status? So I strongly believe that due to medical advances, we have a lot of advances in medicine. We have a lot of medications for this disease. It is actually manageable. It is even less severe compared to other diseases that are very dangerous. So be on your medications, and you will live happily with your husband or your wife. Your partner will remain negative, your children will be negative. Thank you very much.
Wow. Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it's getting tougher and amazing. Mr. Ismail, I'm so impressed. Like you mentioned that the problem with HIV is the stigma people have about the disease. And I'm so impressed with your point. And I guess the people are really their challenge. So ladies and gentlemen, can we have a word from the second speaker which is Miss Yolande Manley. Ma'am, you're welcome.
Thank you, Madam the Moderator, for this opportunity. Thank you, my learned colleague. We've heard all you have said. Okay, my first point is, first of all, I'm for the fact that couples intending to marry where one person is positive should not continue with the marriage. Why? Marriage is something holy. It's a lifetime responsibility. HIV on its own, it's a responsibility. Are you willing to take this responsibility? Are you willing to adhere to this responsibility? you have to take drugs for a lifetime? Will you be able to live on drugs with a partner for a lifetime? Something you did not cause. It was not your making. It was from another person. Can you adhere to the fact that you will be on drugs for the rest of your life for something something which was not your making? Because there's no going back. When you're in, you're in. By the time you don't adhere to your treatment, by the time you don't adhere to the drugs, it becomes very dangerous. So, will you prefer to marry somebody of whom you always be at the hospital? You always be taking medications forever. And my colleague said something about viral suppression. Yes, there's viral suppression, but viral suppression does not cancel the fact of transmitting the disease. It just reduces the possibility of the disease being transmitted, but it does not mean the disease cannot be transmitted. There's still a chance of the disease being transmitted to the partner. Imagine why would you bring an innocent child here to come and suffer, to come and live on drugs? Why don't you prevent all this from happening by not getting married to this person? So today, I stand for the fact that couples intending to get married where one person is being tested positive should not continue with the marriage. There is a lot of responsibility in this. Marriage on its own comes with a lot of responsibility. Will you add the responsibility of marriage to the responsibility of getting married to an HIV positive individual, of which you are not the cause? So today, we will still stand on the fact that couples with HIV, where one person is HIV positive, should not continue with the marriage. There's a lot of responsibility involved in it. Thank you very much.
Oh my God. Thank you so much, Miss. You learn, like, she made mention of the fact that marriage is a holy matrimony, right? And marriage it comes with a lot of responsibility. And marriage on its own is a responsibility, and getting married to an HIV patient is another responsibility added to marriage responsibilities. Thank you so much, ma'am. And she's saying that it's good you prevent it by not getting married to such a person. Thank you for your wonderful contribution, ladies and gentlemen. We're about listening to the second speaker against. Thank you so much, Miss Lengon Jr. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Madam the moderator. Okay, I've listened to my colleagues speak and also some points raised by my fellow colleague for the point against right here. So I'm really amazed, okay, listening to Madam Yolan speak. She said marriage is a holy matrimony, and I adopt to that fact that it's really a holy matrimony, and also it is responsible. Okay, let's look at this. You speaking in that aspect, I would like us to say it's not good for us to be judgmental with the aspect of people who are HIV positive shouldn't get married, because you don't know which circumstance brought them to that stage. First, let's note, like our colleague first said, that HIV is usually gotten through sexual intercourse. Yes, that's true. But that's not the only means of transmission right here. There are some women who, when they get pregnant due to stigma, they feel like, okay, there is no need for them to go to the hospital. So with them carrying another life within them, they refuse to adhere to medication, and thereby bringing forth a positive offspring, like you said, that which will come and suffer. But then, so that little girl growing, for example, or that young boy growing, for example, who is positive, not knowing his or her status, should they be condemned not getting married for the sins of their parents, for the ignorance of their parents? So I don't think it's a point that people who are HIV positive shouldn't get married. I shouldn't suffer for something I didn't know. By the way, it's just a virus, like every normal virus. HIV is just like hepatitis B, which is also caused by a virus, which damages your liver. So does it mean people who are hepatitis B positive shouldn't get married? Because it's also transmissible from mother to child through sexual intercourse, just like HIV. HIV, like we said, is just a virus that does what? weakens our immune system and make us more prone to other opportunistic diseases. So, I don't think HIV should be an aspect whereby we should refuse that couples shouldn't proceed with their marital plans. It is just a disease. While you are there battling with your hepatitis B virus, which is destroying your liver, leading to cirrhosis, and we all know that our liver is one of the most powerful organs in our body, which fights for toxins removal. Meaning, if you're poisoned, you can easily die because your liver cannot fight back. Why I'm also battling with my HIV positive case, meaning all of us who have diseases that we are battling for. So, should it be that people who are hepatitis B positive or COVID-19 positive, which are all caused by viruses, shouldn't get married? I stand for the fact that HIV shouldn't be a reason why people shouldn't get married or tying their knots together. Thank you very much.
Oh my God! You see, thank you so much, Miss Guanjo Lengo Njini. I'm so amazed. Indeed, she stands for the point that HIV shouldn't be a reason why people shouldn't get married. And I'm so impressed by your point. She made mention of the fact that HIV is just a virus like other viruses. Thank you so much. At this point, we're going to be having one speaker each from the various camps, and we are going to begin with the people for. You're going to dedicate one speaker who is going to give their conclusion on this matter, and we are going to have somebody from against, and you're going to give your conclusion with regards to the fact that should HIV be a reason why couples shouldn't proceed with their marital rights after discovering that they are positive. Thank you so much. People for, can you speak out?
Okay, I want to go back to my colleague's point. He raised quite valid points. I wasn't particularly concerned about the physical aspects of the disease. Of course, medical science has evolved in a lot of ways, but I was particularly concerned about the human nature. The human nature puts us at a position in which we become irrational, especially when we have something to hold on to. So if I get married to someone who has HIV, even if I want to be that nice, marriage is going to bring up situations. It's going to bring up challenges. And there is a very high tendency and a very high probability that I will often go back and say, okay, I did you a favor to get married to you. And psychological torture is the most painful torture. Physical torture can be limited, but psychological torture. A lot of people kill themselves every year, not from physical torture, but rather from psychological torture. So, if I get married to someone that sees me less because I have HIV, there is a high tendency that I might commit suicide. I've gone past those days in which people just knowing their status. So there are a lot of people, of course, we spoke about stigmatization. There are people who actually die because they are being neglected. So imagine a situation in which your spouse has to neglect you. It could be painful, it could be devastating. You could lose your life because your spouse said, okay, you know what? I'm not into this marriage stuff anymore. You know what? This thing is difficult, and you are a diseased woman. You are a diseased woman or you're a diseased man, and you might never have imagined this possible. But then the pressure of marriage will bring out these situations. So, given the probabilities and possibilities that could emanate from psychological torture, that could emanate from one spouse devaluing the other because of that disease condition, I firmly believe that it is not worth the risk. Hence, if my spouse, if someone has HIV between both of us, I would recommend we part our ways. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Right away, we are going to the people against. Can you give your conclusion?
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. What I will still stick on to is that the cause of HIV is not usually intentional, and as my colleague earlier said, it can come in different ways. You can get the virus from different ways. So you shouldn't be punished for that. And what is really good about this stuff is that this disease is manageable. It is manageable. So it's not about whether you have it or you don't have it. You have marital issues. You will definitely have marital issues, whether you have it or you don't have it. So it is just simple. the other partner can be prevented to have this disease. Their children can be prevented to have this disease. So why should it be a reason why they shouldn't get married because one of the partners is positive? So I still stand on the point that HIV status, positive status, shouldn't be a reason why couples should not get married. They should go ahead, get married, and just do their behavioral modifications, and then they will live happily for life. Thank you, moderator.
Thank you so much, the people for and against. Ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of this debate, and straight away we are going to get to our juries for them to give us their take on this crucial matter which is affecting our society so mightily. So right away we are going to invite Miss Verastine for her conclusion with regards to this matter.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Wow, very strong points raised here. Very, very strong points. But my take on this is, I really got, it was interesting to hear the points that were raised by the people against. We should not be judgmental. It's very, because we live in a society where we get judged for so many things, and HIV happens to be one of those things. And stigmatization alone is a very big problem, and we don't want such things in our community. So I'll conclude that if it happens that a couple goes for premarital testing and discover that one person is positive, they shouldn't cancel their marriage plans. They should go ahead with it because there are solutions, and I believe that they will be happy and they will live healthy and their children will be healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss People. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for us to listen to Mrs. Gogomo Adela. Thank you so much, Mom. Mommy, you're welcome.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Thank you, fellow jury. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. People have listened from the both parties, and they have spoken well. So thank to all of you who have spoken well. Now, when we are looking at what you have said, after listening to you people well, I have, and as a jury, concluded that marriage shouldn't be stopped because one of the partner is having HIV. Marriage plan shouldn't be stopped because biblically love should reign. And now if you leave the person out, it means you doesn't love the person. And what is happening? Stigma. And from there, you are going to answer when the times come. Marriage shouldn't be stopped because with the HIV, there is already an advancement in technology. That is, now there is the use of ARV, which now goes to prevent or to suppress the viral load and now the transmission to your partner. You find that it is actually with the love and the faith that you have will be zero. It will no more be transmitted. Also, it is not a life sentence like other diseases. Hepatitis B, as we have heard here, which destroys your liver. Also, cancer, which you find out that parts of your body can be chopped off, like the legs, the hand, the breast. So, I have seen that we should not try to stop any marriage plan, be it the groom's partner, the bride's partner, the partners themselves. We should not stop it because of things that you know that if you follow, your children will all be fine without having it, and you will also live happily with your partner because of that love that you put in front. Thank you all for listening.
Wow,
Amen.
wow. Thank you so much, members of the jury. Hello people, hello viewers all over the world. We have come to the end of our session at debate. I want to let you know that let's all kill the stigma we all have about HIV. HIV is not a death sentence. HIV can be cured even only if you decide to have some behavioral modifications and you take your drugs rightly. Ladies and gentlemen, let's all go into our communities and we get the facts. Let's get involved and let's get tested for HIV. Once more, you're listening to Fountain Bridge Association. You can follow us on Facebook, Fountain Bridge. Follow up on YouTube, Fountain Bridge Association. Follow up on Instagram, Fountain Bridge Association, and LinkedIn, Fountain Bridge Association. We are out to maintain and transform minds and ensure healthy living for all and everyone over the world. Thank you so much. I remain your humble moderator, Miss Table Naomi Engwari, speaking right from Boya, Cameroon. Thank you. Stay blessed. We love you.